Hello, everybody. Welcome to Breaking the Silence, a podcast by Quest Pro Women Foundation. This is a Pan-African podcast dedicated to illuminating the pressing issue of sexual gender-based violence and amplifying the voices of sexual and gender diverse individuals. My name is Samantha, your host, and together we'll explore the complex landscape of sexual gender-based violence across Africa, delve into the intersectionality of these experiences, and foster meaningful dialogue towards empowerment and change. Join us as we break the silence and champion the rights and dignity of all. Let's get started. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Silence, a Pan-African podcast that looks into the lives of LGBTQI Africans across the continent. And so today's conversation is about the double vulnerability of LGBTQ women. When we're looking at oppression, we look at oppression as a layered thing, right? So if you're black, that's your first layer of oppression. And then you're a woman, so again, another layer of oppression. And then you're queer. So congratulations, you are a roundabout of oppression. You are where oppression meets, yeah? This conversation is how are queer women more vulnerable than, opposite of queer women is what? Unqueer. Because I don't like the word straight. Because who is bent in this conversation? But I also gender-wise. So it will only cover sexuality. Anywho, so as usual, Samantha, and I have an amazing panel with me that's going to introduce themselves. I have people from Uganda, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Ghana. Everybody's annoyed that they are queer and double suffering. So we're having this conversation today. And my people introduce themselves and just tell me, if you were a country, what country would you be and why? I'll go first before people steal my answer. I'll be Mauritius. It's a beach. And it recently legalized gay rights and legalized same-sex marriage. So it's like a gay beach. So I'll be Mauritius.
I would create my own country. Hello, King Boss, and I'll be part of the podcast. And the country that I would really want to be in, and the things I would want to happen in that country are, I would create my own. Because so far I haven't found one that is really perfect in everything. I would create a country that is communal, a country that has no capitalism, but it's all about helping each other. If you have yams, I have rice. Let's share that. No means of any, exchange rates or exchange medium.
Describing butter trade.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I would create a country like that. Yeah, because I've realized that capitalistic tendencies are the reasons why we are facing whatever we are facing.
Yes.
And that's to come in later.
A country in Africa.
Your name, where you're from, and if you anywhere, country anywhere. If you're a country, what would you be?
Oh, okay. My name is Thuku. Some people call me Ambassador Thuku. If I could be a country, let's start with Africa. I could be South Africa. I feel like at some point, many other African countries are yet to get where South Africa is in terms of legalizing same-sex marriages, and even before marriages, same-sex conversations, being in a position where they are comfortable, or we are comfortable talking about these conversations openly without being targeted, without being discriminated. So I think I can live with the rest as long as our gay agenda is being legalized, because we are an agenda. As much as feminism is an agenda, we are an agenda as queer community. Yeah.
Okay. Hello. My name is Gina Hart Ikuya from Ghana, representing Courageous Sisters Ghana. Okay, I'll choose South Africa because I just don't know much about South Africa, but what I know is queers are free there, and then that's the reason I'll choose South Africa. Thank you.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Momo from Uganda, from Twilight Support Initiative. What country I would like to be is Lesotho. It is the country that, of course, that recently removed the bar on it removed the bar on same-sex relationships. Yeah. So if every African country should try to decolonize themselves from this common law that we inherited from our colonial masters, this will be very great for us. We are still living under colonization. We are still using the common law that was imposed on Africans. We're still living in the colonial era. So if we dismantle these laws that were brought by our masters in the colonial era, we will be free. All of us will be free. Yeah.
True.
I find that so upsetting because when was it Theresa May, when she was the prime minister, she apologized for homophobia. She just apologized. She said, "We are sorry for the laws that we came with, and we hope, wishing you sorrows prayers, hoping that you stop being a homophobic state." And that's just so painful.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susanna from Ghana. I would have been Madagascar because even though Madagascar hasn't legally LGBT isn't legal over there. There is no strict laws holding queer persons over there. You can choose to be who you are over there. You can choose to advocate publicly. So I think I will have to be Madagascar. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So the question is, are the queers suffering in Africa? Are queer women suffering?
Indeed, they are. We are.
How? Please tell me, how is it so much terrible for you than other women?
Looking at the societal norms and institutional homophobia around, how do you expect a citizen, a nation to thrive in such a community? Yes, I will understand that, yes, I'm a woman. I acknowledge that, yes, I'm this. I find myself to relate to this. But as a society, if you can't hold space for me, where do you expect me to get a safe space like the one I'm supposed to have? Because this is my society as well. This is my life as well. I'm not going to one day wake up and I say I was born in South Africa where they legalize same-sex marriage and existence. You get? But I'm here in a country that I know very well that it criminalizes who I am and what I get to contribute, and furthermore, because who I am affects all the things that I'm supposed to do in life. So in very many times, you will understand that societal norms alone fight you. You get? And I talked about institutionalized homophobia. If you look at the way legal frameworks are embedded into homophobia, you will understand that this is not a country that is supposed to serve you. You'll be threatened about your survival in this type of country. If you look at the all like Ugandan, because I'm Ugandan and I'll give that example for it. If you look at the Anti-Homosexuality Act, perpetuating the queer persons into all the viewed crimes and all the things that are happening just to evidence that we are bad people. The pictures they are trying to portray it out there just for us being different from the colonial ways of organization. Because let me tell you before, I'll not differ from my immediate or after people who suggested that as Africans, we are not trying to adapt to Eastern, Western side. These things happened. Just that before then, we were afraid to part from things the community understand. We were afraid to choose a new path that fits us because we enclosed it, we fought it, and maybe somehow we tried to like oppress it furthermore. You get? But if you're to look at the way things are changing in life, the way from if you're to look at our cultures and all that, you can't. If I'm to request that I want a pure Mugandan, I may take long to get a pure Ugandan, like a Muganda, a pure Muganda, with only genes of Bagandas. You get? Same applies from different aspects of lives. So why are you limiting me from evolving? If back then we existed and we couldn't talk about it, doesn't mean that it wasn't there. We are evolving from being silenced to speaking about it. For people to identify us, to see us, to know that we exist and we existed even before. I'm always a person who doesn't like the capitalistic kind of things because it came because it came with all these formulated laws and all that to get us to be able to control us. They limited our chances of exploiting and understanding who we are.
Gina,
Yes.
queer women suffering in
Yes.
Ghana.
Yes, queer women are suffering so much in Ghana. If I can talk about limited healthcare access, why should we be devoided from our rights of healthcare? If you are sick, especially when you have HIV/AIDS or STDs or this kind of sexual transmitted diseases that everyone can get, they quote you as an LGBT person, so when you go to the healthcare, doctor will not even listen to you, or even when he listens to you, they will just give you a wrong medication just to harm your system, because they presume and they assume you are not human and you are not supposed to live. So that's the main problem we have in Ghana. The limited access to healthcare is a very big problem, and I don't know how we are going to tackle that, but we have to fight more because we are human, and we have to let them know we are human. We have to speak out.
Fuku, are queer women suffering in Kenya more than other types of women?
Okay, so queer women are suffering in Kenya. I want to go directly to the point and use examples. At the beginning of this year, there were videos trending on social media or masculine presenting women being hijacked on the roads by men specifically, and you see them touching their bodies, touching one of the studs and start beating them up. Someone is taking the video on top of a building, and these videos are trending. And when other people send this information, these videos on social media, we see there is a lot of resistance from the public still. So I feel like in Kenya, we are a community, but when it comes to masculine presenting women like me, we are facing a lot of aggression. We are facing a lot of aggression, especially from men and also women who seems to be so religious. Even our families are aggressive towards us. So I feel like we have even the laws that are being brought about by the parliamentarians. There is a parliamentarian, I don't want to mention their name here, who tabled a bill that wants to create more harm to our community. And I want to also thank the judiciary of Kenya for being supportive towards the queer community in Kenya. They gave us, we are on that step of having we were given the liberty to create our own organizations. Our organizations, having the liberty to have our organizations without being questioned even by the government, because we believe that we have the liberty to be who we are, or associate with whomever we want to. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Are queer women suffering in Ghana again?
Yes, we are suffering. All what everyone said is true. I would like to touch something small about violence and abuse that we queer women are suffering in Ghana, and not only in Ghana, in Africa as a whole. Like the corrective rape, domestic violence, emotional and psychological abuse, forced marriages. These are things that I would say almost every queer person in Africa, not in Ghana alone. That I would say every queer person in Ghana and also in Africa is going through that one way or the other, is suffering from one of the forms of violence and abuse I'm talking about. Even if you haven't been raped before as a queer person, you haven't been forced into marriage, or you haven't experienced corrective rape, you are going through emotional and psychological abuse. Not only from the government. We are always, it's like you are always walking on nails.
Eggshells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
I hear
government,
you.
the laws of your country is always following you. It always want to criminalize you. Aside families being against you, the church, the community. Sometimes you are even scared walking about psychological. Nobody is attacking you, but
And,
inwardly, like at the back of your head, you feel like someone is listening to you, someone looking at you. Even when you are making phone calls at home.
You see that kind of thinking, yeah? You even have it, you hold it personally, and it starts projecting.
Yes. Even when you are on the phone, you have to lower your voice. In Ghana, for instance, when I'm working, I have to sometimes whisper because I don't know. Walls have ears. I may not know whoever is passing by, whether the person supports excuse me, the person supports my work or not, whether the person is listening to what I'm saying or not. I have to talk in parables. This pose psychological abuse and emotional abuse on me as a queer person. The laws in Ghana is looking at taking my child away from me if I'm seen as a queer person. And we queer people, we raise our children very well. Yes, most of our kids, they end up well, and they are kids that, otherwise, very productive children. So why must my life, why must being me pose a threat to you? I will just end here.
I would also want to address that the things you've mentioned are not far different from what we are having here in the Ugandan context. Very many of us are facing a challenge of expected outcomes of you from families. You find yourself that you're having this pressure of either getting married or even trying to have kids with someone you're not even interested in, but just to make sure that you meet the societal norms. Because every parent expects their daughter, their sons to bring a kid and a wife. You get? So you're here, you're a lesbian, and you have a partner who is a woman, and maybe you didn't think, you've never had a thought, or you never wished to have a kid. But at the end of the day, the pressure that is going to come from your family, from the society, the community, because your family will push you. You might not know what the community is saying, or the society. but your family members will come and tell you things. We are feeling embarrassed because all of the children that were in your age are married and all that, they have kids and all that bullshit. You get, but they don't know your journey. They don't know what you chose for, like, how is my family supposed to be like? And they don't know that the things you said now are coming from a traumatic event that you grew up in.
Do you know what's weird? I've been having this conversation and checking myself. I always am proud of saying I don't look queer. Like, I'm so happy, and meanwhile they're killing women, but I'm like, well, at least I don't look queer. I'm passing. And then I'm always telling my mask friends, "Are you guys bam?
How are
It's
you
not
surviving?
like, what's up?" I even fear being seen some point in public. I'm like, if they associate me with you, my problems are going to thicken. And I've just thought about it now in this moment that shows my extra vulnerability. Like, already I'm vulnerable as a woman. I'm like, well, at least I mean, if they want to kill me, they might rape me. You guys, that's where we have reached.
Yes, and
And I'm like,
yes,
they
you're
want,
right.
at least they want to rape, they want to kill me.
Kill
They
me,
will,
rape me,
they
and
will find me
yes.
attractive and rape me, but at least I will not die.
Die.
Can you imagine?
But again, you're facing through, this hard,
so when we
hard
have this
situation.
conversation on duo vulnerability, I really like you're preaching to the choir, because even look at the case of Sheila Lumumba. Sheila Lumumba was murdered because in Kenya, and I was so
Out of jealousy.
from men, because how dare a woman be?
6 men.
Sheila was like 5'4". 6 men had to kill us. Okay, sorry, now I sound like I've practiced murder, but yeah. So we look at so when we have this question of are queer women more even at risk? Pardon? Was Sheila a woman?
All
right.
Looking back to the challenges,
We missed.
so even looking back to this duo,
Isaac, come and say hi. Bad manners. Bad manners.
All right. Queer women have multiple layers of vulnerability. Being a woman itself you are vulnerable. So when you add that layer of being different, having a different sexuality from the one which is deemed acceptable by the society, it's really it really puts you at higher risk than the cis woman. So we are still in this heteronormative. We are still having the heteronormative ideas that we need to exist in certain in certain form of a virtue.
yes,
That is deemed fit into
Into
the
the
society.
society, yes.
How how you are supposed to behave as a woman.
And we
so
try
as
to
I will
turn
give,
it.
I will give a case, a scenario that happened in the area where I'm serving, where a queer woman was taken through coercive conversion therapy. This one was a lesbian woman. She was coerced into religious coercive therapy, and after going through that therapy, she was told that you need to marry a man. You need to marry a man for you to be accepted as a woman in the society. You need to marry a man. So this brings us to, like, women are forced to, they are controlled. Our bodies are controlled. Our existence is controlled. If you are different from what the society deems you, or what you are supposed to do as a woman, you are supposed to be in this cis vacuum. You are supposed to be heterosexual. So if you are not like what the society wants you, actually it's all about our bodies. It's all about, can you produce? Actually, they call us the rogue women.
Can
We
you
are
cook?
defiant. Yeah, you are defiant on the society norms and their stereotypes and the roles they are supposed to do as a woman. Your body is meant to be producing children. So if you are sleeping with a fellow woman, that means you are not going to produce children. You're a nuisance to society. You're not important to society because you're not adding to the population. So It goes back to the oppressive systems that are in place, the misogyny, heteronormative ideas, cisnormity, sexism. So this one is really, really affecting us in Africa, and of course in the society that we are coming, coupled with the laws, the existing laws that are in place. We're still also dwindling with issues of the colonial era, the colonial laws that were put in place, and Africa is still using that common law instead of we need to evolve, and we are talking about evolving, but we're still in that colonial sort of era that we are operating in. We are not changing.
There's nothing they say about learn and learn, relearn. Why can't we relearn homosexuality? Well, we are Africa is
There is a history that the men who used to fight in war
would go with boys. Yes.
No, they were partners to themselves, and that makes them win the war against the other.
Let me tell you why. Do you know why that I'm writing a paper out. Cut that part out. So because rape is, do you know that rape came with colonialism?
Yes.
Did you know?
Yes, I know.
And so men were not, you know how people rape people for war?
Yeah. Yeah.
African men that used to rape. That's why they used to go with young boys as their boyfriends.
Exactly.
Because rape is not African culture.
No, not at all.
It's we were naked and everything and no one was raping anybody.
Exactly.
But because we have rape as a form of dispossession, rape of culture, rape of land, rape of religion,
rape
we
of
have now,
identity.
that's why in my local language rape is okuhamba, which is to capture. Because it's like, you're technically in Uganda, quarter. Like, it's not something that you are given. You take it.
Yes.
And so it comes with colonialism.
Yeah.
In
the olden days, when their partners are in the same, let me say, territory with them, and they are all fighting fighting the same enemy, it's really, how do I say, boost them. They want to impress their partners,
like
so
they
win the
war.
wars.
You should see me when I'm walking out.
Fights. They win, and they win the wars, and they win upon against their enemies, because the sense of belonging is among them. Yes. And do you think a man can stay in the war zone for years without being intimate?
Another thing that stood out for me when Mama was sharing is that the fact when she says that, because women don't want to get married or have children, but why queer people are scapegoats is because for us they can see why. They can say, that's why they say queer people are recruiting. Yeah. Because you say, okay, you don't want kids because you're queer. And so then you become the scapegoat of all the kids. But kids are expensive. And kids because we are poor.
You are so right.
Also continuing with what Momo was saying before, I even want to take it back to home, to problems of SGBV. Do you see that it's hard for a queer person to go and report a case of SGBV?
Very true.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Because we are always seen as criminals, not like victims.
Yeah. It stops being about your case and becomes about being queer.
Yes.
Even if it's...
How do you expect... How are you going to make a clear report of the numbers of people that are being what? Abused, violated under the SGBV?
Exactly.
Because you're going to go there, it's going to turn into a different thing. You're going to face further, what we call after earth.
Yes, victimization.
Yes, you've reported the whole thing. They seem like they're going to help you, and before you know, they're coming for you.
Yes. I have a question for Thuku. How easy or how difficult is it for... I keep saying it here. How easy or how difficult it is for queer women to report violence in Kenya?
It is very hard in Kenya to report the queer intimate violence, because the idea, let's take a masculine and feminine setup, whereby where we have had an issue with my partner. They go and maybe we have an altercation. They go and maybe report me to the police. So what the first thing, they will not address this issue. They are going to address the fact that we are two lesbian women and that will blanket the whole idea of finding a solution. So I think we should. The authority has the authority in our country has a responsibility to assist us in a way that there are systems, because we lack systems that are protecting us as queer people in Kenya. Yeah.
There is a scenario in Ghana where somebody stole a queer person's phone. They were in the hostel together, and these boys gang up to go and steal. They went to go and steal this boy's item, and he went to the police station to report. Do you know the first thing the CID told him? You are gay. And he was like, no.
That's bitter.
But also that's besides the point.
Exactly. I'm here to report my items being stolen. Exactly. And because they see him to be feminine, his case was not taken. And this boy has to use the traditional ways. He brought egg. He has to use the gin and the egg. I mean, the old system of
Can
justice.
you please teach us how to use the egg for justice? Please.
If I do, a lot of people will die. And I'm against that. So I'm still fighting violence, not just gender-based violence, but violence in all forms. So let's hold it over there.
So, yeah, I would like to add on what Susie said. Actually, we recently had we have an issue. We have a case that we reported at police. We had a project, and we had signed a contract with the landlord, the landlady, the owner of the land. So, and we had kept there. We had put our project in the land. So this person came and stole our products from that land. Actually, we had the beehives there. Come and stole our beehives, took them, and she had the audacity to say that you people, you are gay. You people, you are lesbians.
What has that
got
to do with the
I
beehives?
love how the story
Are the
ends.
bees gay?
The bees did not
What has
sting.
that got to do with beehives?
So she said that you have no right to report. You have no right to report. You deserve it. You are gay people. You're supposed to be thrown in jail instead of reporting me that I've taken your what? Your beehive. So it's really these people do society does things with impunity. Actually, there's an incident of a queer woman who was stabbed. It was a recent case. Wow. She was stabbed. She was recently supported with the medical bills, and of course, she was stabbed because of her queerness.
Oh. Yeah, I've shifted like thrice.
Yes. So she was stabbed. Some boy came and she rejected. What society has this thing that a woman has to accept.
That's
if a man comes to you.
Mama, before you go further, I'll try to again highlight this issue. The institutional frameworks are really also bitter on us, because let me tell you, as we are experiencing all this, where is the judiciary? Where are these people?
Passing an anti-homosexuality law that will get you hanged.
But as
That's
we are
where it is.
like, no, in the laws we have where protection, there is some protection and all what to humans. It says no discrimination just because of race, sexuality, and all everything.
In the
right?
government doesn't say it can't say sexuality. They can't. They can. No.
Even the UN frameworks, it's not their orientation.
Yeah.
Sexuality and orientation, it's not there.
So we'll have us. Can we talk about not even education or discrimination? Can we talk about parenting? How is it going? Queer parents. We have a small. So in Uganda, when the Anti-Homosexuality Act passed, any deadbeat, whoever was denied, who wanted access to a child, anybody who it became outing of mothers or queer mothers. So people already struggle with parenting and everything. So when you add an added layer of queerness, and I'm going to change my voice because I'm a magician, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, there are cases where several women, queer women, they've been taking away their kids, they out you, and stuff like that. And then also it goes beyond to, I am a queer woman, but I want to access services like IVF, but now they're passing the ART law. They want to pass the ART law of the assisted reproductive technology the bill. They are working on it. And yes, that is against if you're not married. Man and woman, and in this context we are talking marriage, man and woman. So if you're not married, you cannot access those services.
Come to Ghana.
Yes.
That law.
Sarah Opendi is what
Sarah Opendi's law, my guy. IVF, even if you have all the money in the world, you can no longer, as long as you don't pour the ice.
She even attacked single women.
But also, the law says only married people.
Married.
And she's married to a man.
Yeah,
So
so
she can
Pablo
access
Gomez.
the services. Yeah?
This
So
is
to answer your
terrible.
question, no, that law won't affect.
This is terrible.
The audience is very excited about this topic.
And also there is the issue of queer mothers, how they are treated when they go to their children's schools. Yeah? You're taking your child to school, but because of how you present, that is going to be a whole issue.
Especially if you're a masculine woman,
Yeah?
right?
Yes.
So, may I want to talk about the anti-rights movement?
Can I ask a question? And you help me answer it. I heard her talking about how when the bill was passed, they used it to out mothers, like you lose your rights. So I'm trying to understand why, like, how does your queerness affect your?
I am recruiting my child into homosexuality. I cannot be trusted around children. We are not good for children. So for me, that debate, I don't know, there's these things of like all the angles to take a child and they're not there. And this is finally like the angle of you can, because if I'm in jail, how can I parent? So yeah, that's the thing. So if you have evidence, this is the thing. The law says you can report a lesbian. And you know what's painful? They will detain you while police does investigation. And in Uganda, detaining is a form of punishment. So I can even detain you for 4 years. Now you're there, you're just chilling, watching soap operas at 7 p.m. with the rest of everybody else. Yes.
Thank you. So, actually, I'd like to talk about the anti-rights movement. You guys, this movement is so organized and so innovative. Can you imagine at the UN, the organizations that have the right to vote, but there are no queer organizations that have a right to vote at the UN. So they're looking at anti-SRHR rights, whereby they don't want to include the word sexual orientation. So that means in any program, in case it goes through, the word sexual will not be considered in any programs. That means even in the funny. So I would like also to share my experience when I went to Kenya. I saw it, actually experienced it firsthand. I was in a gay bar in Kenya, it's called LA. And we had gone there with friends and we were drinking. And there was a masculine representing person seated next to us, and they were also drinking hard liquor. So they drank and drank and drank, and they were excited, and maybe they got so much drunk, and they couldn't think for themselves. Can you imagine there was a predator already waiting for them? Yes, there was a guy already waiting for them to get drunk. So do you know what this guy did? So this dad was so drunk, like, do you know someone who's drugged? Because they took a whole bottle of liquor. So this guy came and started caressing the stud and started kissing them. They started kissing from the bar. So we, as with our feminism,
Yeah, so that story, watch out for the upcoming book. Sorry. There's a book coming out about that story. We have to wrap up. But I hear you, because I hear the person who spoke before. Because whereas other women are being raped because men are shits, queer men are being raped because we are being corrected. People are calling it correction. So I hear you. There's always another layer of oppression. And just in a few minutes, what do we do? We're not closing up. I'm just asking, what do we do? Everybody tell me, what do you think we should do? Those who on my panel from the beginning. Should I do?
For me, excuse. Excuse.
Okay, like thing like this.
If you are among the people who selected me for this application for this, I wrote something that is very important that I hold dear and would like to endeavor in future. That we've always went to the streets for our rights, and there is an English saying that says, when you continue doing the same thing, you will not get the results that you want if you failed. So for me, I would really want, even as we continue with this, we continue even in future have queer conversation on queering the ballot, because we can start from there. What if we
thing
send,
that Ini did last time? It was very wonderful.
yes, what if we send our own, what the leadership, and I love the fact that there is leadership here. We send our own leaders who are so much who are so much interested in the political process. Like you see, there are so many lawyers in parliament. Why do you think lawyers push for their agendas successfully in parliament? Why do you think that their doctors push their agendas in parliament? And why not queer people? Is because every time there is an issue of queering the ballot, we shy away as the queer people. Why don't we now, with these all resources that we have, come together, sit, tell our people to vote, come together, look for, identify ourselves, leaders who can lead these because we are so many. Like in Uganda, I'm so sure that if there is one queer person who can come and say, I want to be voted as an MP, I am sure so many queer people will come together and vote that person in, because we have the majority, we have numbers to bring our own in parliament. And that is what I want. If we can 2, 3 people, in future 4 or 5, we can get to a point whereby even in Uganda legislators, our votes will speak, people will listen, because we have numbers. And because we have shied away, we will continue shying away, we'll continue talking about it, continue going to the street and being killed by these people, because we don't have people of our own. Even if we have them in parliament, they cannot speak. They're doing these things in private. So that is that is my argument and point.
I love your point so much.
Yeah.
What we need to do is, of course, advocating for legal reforms. Actually, I was in some meeting where we are drafting a UN high HPL high-level meeting. I was in the process here in Uganda, championed by Pan-African IGLA. So we need to utilize these platforms to advocate for our issues. As you are saying, the UN holds governments accountable when it comes to the Sustainable Development Goals. How can we utilize these high level meetings to champion our issues? So we are looking at having being they call them having observer statuses on the different bodies that affect laws. For example, there is CAL. CAL is the Coalition of African Lesbian. It has an observer status at African Commission for Human Rights. That's Parliament. So, but of course, they had some backlash when their name was read in full. So they had that backlash, and they were removed. That observer status was taken away from them. But we need to utilize these high-level meetings to, push forward for our issues. And we need to also hold. We have the Equal Opportunity Commission at our government. How are they handling our issues? We should need an overhaul of law reforms in Uganda, and of course have an honest conversation regarding the laws. Why are they sidelining certain groups of people? Why are they not focusing on all people? Why do they have these narratives? They are talking about all power belongs to people. You know, everyone. There's no discrimination, but they are discrimination. The law is they are implementing laws that are contradicting the same constitution. So we need an overhaul of law reforms. We need of laws in Uganda. We need law reforms, and if we begin this conversation, I think we shall get somewhere. Having these conversations, yeah.
So Gina.
I go first. Okay. I'll start with what we have to do. But I wanted to set out this Article 21. Article 21. Article 21 of the Constitution of Republic of Uganda prohibits gender discrimination. Generally, hear that word, generally. It's an umbrella, you get it? So if it prohibits gender discrimination generally and enshrines the principles of equality before the law, regardless of sex, race, color, ethnicity, tribe, religion, political beliefs, or social or economical standings, there is something the government is not doing that it's supposed to be doing.
But I'm sorry to say this, but sex is male, female, or intersex. Gender is one that has transgender.
Thank you.
So sex, government protects sex. It's why even they are pushing for. There's right now in the Ugandan government, there's an intersex bill that is brewing. But the point of it is to stop transgender people
from that
using
umbrella,
intersex things to get documents. So according to them, they're actually following those rules.
So then that's where I say, okay, if they say it's gender and all that, not sex, right? Again, it prohibits gender discrimination generally. So you get, but either way out of it, or let's move away from that. What we need to do as activists, as advocates, and people who are trying to see change happen in context of the life we are living right now. You get, I request, or I would love to see more queer persons occupying spaces. Instead of waiting people to understand us, why don't we go to those spots and try to pass out our informations? I understand there are dynamics and there are techniques inside there that can hold you back, but again, you're doing work at a side. But let's also shift from that kind of, okay, I could call it like double faces. Because we are trying to get, first of all, we were fighting for the spot. So we got the spot. How about we remove all these covers, all these masks, and we pass out the right information we wanted to pass in the beginning as we are holding these spaces. Let's try to stop being gatekeepers, pick-me-ups and all that. Then also, I see the way forward by... let's not fear standing alone, because behind here you got people. Yes, you may have grown those people, but you're still moving on the vision. How are we getting there? How about, that, okay, as I started this journey, I had 1,000 people I was standing for. I had 11 people I was representing. How about you come back and you see change and you try to enforce that implementation of change and you be through it, in it, and out of it. And also, let's try to sensitize the judicial officials and even law enforcement. You see the way the AHA was passed. Very many law enforcement teams don't know about the proper interpretation of the AHA. That's where you'll find that you still
the AHA
now
is the Anti-Homosexuality Act of Uganda.
Yes, you can find that right now they can chase you out of your home. A home you pay rent actually immediately, even before the month is in, but they can chase you because and the law enforcement will be by their side because they are going to talk about all these issues. You're queer, you get. And this, I can't have a person like this because they don't know how to interpret laws. The way you give condoms and you distribute condoms, how don't you do it as you're putting laws and trying to enforce them, and you say, okay, now this, okay, the law is like this and this and this, so that even the bottom law enforcer will know, and he will know where his right is and where he has skipped, like past the limitation of it. Because even now you can get people persecuted or even imprisoned for things that are not even in the law. Because just the law enforcers, they have the right and they can't do it, they do it. So that's it. Let's try to sensitize our judicial officials and law enforcers from mainstream to grassroots. Even that LC1, even that chairperson you have, let them know. Then let's stop to fear to stand alone. Because in the beginning, the same people who put you in that post can carry you along. If you really mean business and you're willing to fight for them, they will push you further. Don't fear to stand alone if you're standing for the right thing. Thank you.
But if you stand for the truth, then you better
ready to stand alone.
Parting shots, Gina.
Yeah, we are not alone. As we see ourselves, we are not alone. I quite remember